Hey, we live. All right, guys, thank you for joining for today's mock interview session with Chetan Rao. Chetan, he is a former Google engineer and he volunteered to help people with solving and doing the mock interview with the coding challenges, LeetCode style. And we have volunteer, Julia, she signed up first. If you guys want to try yourself in the going through the mock interview, hit the message in the Zoom chat. But again, welcome. And by the way, guys, whoever is the very first time in our mock interview session, please, can you hit the plus sign so I would know? That's interesting. Anyway, Julia, can you tell, please, a little bit, like what is your target positions that you are looking, and then we can start.
So I'm looking for like manual automation position, QA automation position. With both manual and automation, I started to learn Java a year ago, so I'm a junior, and I'm happy to be here. I'm ready. I just let me. So you send me a link, and what I need to do, I just a little bit confused.
So 1 second, I'm just gonna send you a link with the question, so you can read that question and you can start. You can look at it and ask me questions if you understand it. Or
yeah, but okay.
Do you want
Julia,
that?
yeah, Julia, before going to the coder path, also, can you give some context? Usually when we ask, tell us about yourself, about your last project, you don't need to do the whole thing. We just need to know the context, right? What is your previous experience or background or anything, so people would know. And we understand that you are looking for test automation positions. And
yes, before I have been working as a UI UX designer, and I decided to change my career. I took a bootcamp, QA bootcamp. After QA bootcamp, I started to learn Java to find out role with automation, just manual with automation. I'm looking for the first position. I don't have previous experience. So yeah, I with Java and with Java automation.
okay, yeah. Cool. So yeah, Chetan, you send the link to everyone, please. Only Julia, please use this link. All right, cool. So we're gonna do some exercises. Now, Chetan, he already sent you a link. If you see in the Zoom chat, can you open it? And could you please share your screen? And let's try to do this. Chetan, please, you can take it over. You're muted.
Yeah, so this question gets asked a lot in interviews, and I just want to get an understanding of. It's an easy question. If you have not seen it before, it can be a little difficult. I just want you to read lines 1 to 6 and check whether you can understand this.
Are you able to open the link that in the Zoom chat?
No, yet. I'm just. Oh yeah, I did it. Yeah.
You did it, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Could you please share your screen with us? So
just okay. So given.
Yeah, so please go ahead and write your function inside class solution.
Okay, let me read once time again. How much time I have? Or
yeah, 20 to 25 minutes. Like I for now I think it's okay. So take as much time as possible, but usually this has to be solved in 20 to 25 minutes because it's an easy question.
And guys, who doesn't know Chetan also, Chetan solved 1,000 plus LeetCode problems. So he is an expert in this thing. Just let you know.
Oh, I got you. So I need to target and I need to find those two numbers. But what numbers? I don't see numbers.
Yeah, so
integer nums and I don't see any integers.
Yeah, so yeah, you have to write your function which takes integer nums and then returns the solution.
Challenge. So I need to write right here, right?
After line 33, you can write one function.
Okay. So what I do, I have integers. Where is this line? What you can I delete those?
Oh, you can write a separate function outside the main function.
Okay.
No, after line 35. You
35.
can write separate
Sorry, yeah,
function.
it's a bit confused.
Right here. So you can write in line 34. You can write,
Okay.
start
I see.
writing a function.
So I have integer jumping. I have integer some of nums, array of nums, and let's look like 1, 2, 3, and 5, and my target would be 5. Okay, and it will be integer also. So I will use for loop.
Yeah, so you will have to write it inside a function, right? So you have to define, okay, what's your function method?
So
Like
I
what
will,
parameters will it take? What
yeah,
parameters it will, what will it return?
and I use my my ID. It's
Okay, sure, you can use your ID. It's fine.
thing, yeah. Just one. Here, yeah, share. So it's clean. So I have integer of nums. It would be 1, 2, 3, 5. I'm sorry. Integer target would be 5, and I will nums, right, and I will create additional j, which will be 1, and here I would say j, and I say set ask if, let me think, nums equal, I compare them, j, and also I need to add right here, and let's say if they're equal, oh, not plus, sorry, not equal plus, let me think, equal target. So I need to return those two, sorry, j, and here plus. So I think it should works. Can I try?
Yeah, okay. Just before what are you trying to do here? Can you just explain to us?
So I go through iteration. I took first element and another element. I make sum and I compare if the sum equal to the target. If it's equal, I show those two. I need to return, I forget what I need to return, index or those numbers.
Okay. So you have to return the index, right? First of all.
Indexes. Okay, indexes I and j.
Yeah.
I will return. Yeah.
And so when you actually say this, so are you just looping through each value? Like can you just go through this once, like one loop? Can you just go through this program for this case, 1, 2, 3, 5, and target 5? Can you go step by step?
So
for this
yeah.
case? Yeah.
So first I took the number nums 0, and second I took nums plus 1, and I make a sum. It would be 1 plus 2, it would be 3. And I ask if 3 equal to the 5. If 3 equal to the 5, to the target, in this case, I will return indexes. If they are not equal, if not true, so my indexes, I will go to the next, like nums would be in the second time, it would be 1. It would be here 2 plus j would be 3. In this case would be j would be 3, and it would be equal 5. And I ask if my sum 5, basically 5 equal 5. So I will return, and I will go to the end of this array, and I will verify all of them. And only if my if statement is true, it's return indexes.
Okay, so the question here is again, like you are iterating both j and I together, right?
Right.
So your I will, so I when I okay, if I understand this, so I is 0, j is 1, and next I will
Right.
be 1, j equals 2, and I equals 2 and j equals 3. So it's just comparing the adjacent values.
Right. And it will go
Right.
if j equal the last one, I break the loop.
Okay, so what if it was 2, 1, 5, 3?
Two, one.
So if nums was 2, 1, 5, 3, how will this program be able to return the indexes 0 and 4, 0 and 3?
I see. Yeah. In this case, I need to go differently. I need to use, I gotcha what you mean. Yeah. So I go through the one loop. I took this, now this, and another loop inside. It would be j equal 1, or yeah, it's not to be sure. Yeah. And again, I need to compare them. So E, J, target J. In this case, I will verify. So I would be 0, and after not 0, 1, and to the one I would add 2 and verify. After I add to the 1 3. I think it should works.
Yeah, so one more case, okay?
Yeah.
Say this program, okay?
Right.
So what if you had target as 4 and the same nums?
And the same nums. If this if statement is not true, I need to return something like
No, there is one case where you have this target. So target is 4
target is 4.
and
Okay.
target is 4. So what are you supposed to return here?
Like null or false, because
So what happens here in this case?
in this case, so if a statement would be false and I need to return like I see. Else, let me think.
So yeah, so in this case, what happens? Your program like line 17, what should be?
If it's not true,
Yeah, so
else,
here what happens if I equals 1 and j equals 1?
I equal 1, j equals 1. In my case, it's not, it's like 0 and 1. I equals 1 and j equals 2.
Yeah, but if in one case I equals 1 and j equals 1, and what happens then? So in this program, it will get into that state, right? So when you loop through I0, outer loop goes through 0, 1 to nums dot length. No, inner loop will go to 1 to nums dot length, and outer loop will go from 0 to nums dot length. So what happens here? You can just remove all those things and just run this and see, remove lines 9 to 13 and run this once. 9 to 13, yeah.
Okay.
See, it's also returning 1 1. 0 2 is the correct answer.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also, yeah. So the concern that, okay, let's say it's instead of 3, it was 7. Instead of 3, you had 7 in the second place, third place, and then you run it once again. Run it.
Okay.
See.
Interesting.
Yeah. In that case, what you should do?
Okay. It's something like, no, I don't know, confused.
Yeah. So can you put some condition in line 11?
Now I'm stuck.
Yeah. So any condition you can think of that will prevent such values from being included in our result.
Usually when I'm like, I don't know what to do. I took a paper and a pencil and I tried to find out what is going on a paper.
Okay.
Yeah, I usually go like this.
Yeah, just put I not equals J in
I-
line 11. Line 11.
11.
Inside if condition.
Yeah, 11 and I not equal J.
Yeah. So in
Okay.
this case, it won't print anything, but like at least we are,
Okay.
it's not printing anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is one thing, right? So we have to look at all the corner cases for the code. And okay, so what other things you can think can break this code?
I don't know if it would be negative or yeah, probably some negative number.
What if,
I don't know.
yeah, what if the number is on the, like even if nums of plus I plus nums of j is almost reaching the integer overflow, like integer max, then sometimes it will be equivalent to because it will then overflow and give some negative numbers, right? We have to be like, okay, thinking about those things. But it's okay. Okay, what is the complexity? Do you know what complexity?
Yeah, so it would be like n m like this, I think.
Okay, of n square. So when
Yeah.
you talk about complexity, is the worst case, right? Okay. So how much what is the space complexity? Okay, that is the time complexity. What is the
Yeah.
space complexity of this solution?
Space complexity. I think it's just ON. It's like
Why n?
ON, like liner.
So what are you storing here?
I'm storing.
Okay.
So I
Yeah,
have array
inputs.
of integers.
Okay. Yeah. So I think you can exclude that. Okay, let's exclude the things that we are storing, that 6 and 7. If we exclude that, what is this full space complexity?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah, it's
I'm usually focuses
1 if you exclude that
on.
number input.
I'm sorry. Can you say?
Yeah, if you exclude that input line 6 and line 7, so in your program you are not using any extra space, right? So that's what. So it's going to be O of 1, I think. So if you exclude this input space, and so second thing, okay, how will you make this solution more efficient?
More efficient.
Okay, right now you're not using any space. Can you use more space and try to improvise on the time complexity?
I'm not sure if it works. I would return to my previous solution when I place J here. I'm not sure. No, it's not working. It's hard.
Yeah, so have
Yeah.
you used map? Are you familiar
Yes,
with
I do, but I don't see right now the solution how to apply
map or a set?
map or set. Yeah,
Oh,
yes.
map, we need a map because we need to store the integer and where it's there, so where it's occurring. So can you think about something like an integer being stored in a map and index being stored in a map?
Okay.
And will you be able to find something?
But I need to compare them, and I don't have any other. I don't know how to do it with. Of course, I can save them in a map, and after iterate them and verify. But how to avoid this? I don't know.
Yeah, so how will you? So okay, let's go back and see how you are actually calculating this. Okay, let's go back to your first question. So can you just go to put that 1 2 3 5 and target 5?
1 2 3 5 and target 5.
Okay,
Okay.
and you have this nums of 1 plus nums of 2 is equal to target right now, right? So can you use target minus some one of this and check whether
I gotcha. Okay. Again, I go through the rule. Right. Target. minus this. Let me think.
Let's give like maybe 5 more minutes, and then you may
Okay,
take over and you
sure.
can walk through how would you do this.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
5 minus. Yeah, I need to type. And I feel like I should return again to this double for minus. Just I'm stuck. Okay, I have my map of not map. I have hash set hash.
Why are you using hash set? Okay. So if you use hash set,
Just
but then you will not get indexes where you are stored.
all right. Map. So my indexes would be key value and integer and map new.
Chetan, we got a question, very interesting question from Tammy. When this type of questions and when this type of interviews usually going through, or is it for QA? Is it for SDET? Is it for software engineer?
I think these kind of questions are asked for both. Like example, like companies like Salesforce, for example, ask these kind of questions for automation engineer positions. They want somebody who is more technical, so they will be wanting to check whether they have the ability to code also. That's why they ask. So yeah, so the basic thing is you should know how to use a hash map. So that's the main thing, right? Any like data structure that everybody should know. And
Oh, wait, Julia, if you don't mind, can I mute you for a second?
Sure.
While you trying to solve the problem.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely. This type of questions you would face when you're going through interview for any big tech companies. That's like almost 100%. Any startups, less likely you will get this type of questions if you go through like medium-sized companies or enterprise companies which are not in big tech, and not always. Some companies, for example, managers who are coming from big tech companies, they like to give this type of questions, and not all of them, but a lot of them. And for QA engineers, it should not be, I wouldn't expect that for QA engineers, you'd be asked this type of questions. But if you go for QA engineering position, let's say to Amazon, then yeah, then you should expect this type of questions. Very simple though.
Yeah, so I think so they want to have people in their company, even though they sometimes, like most of them do manual testing, they want people to have that ability to understand code, understand internals of the how, if there is some bug, they want someone to look at the code and understand where it occurs and try to find root cause and try to decrease the time for developers. That's the reason they want to have this kind of capability, I think.
But I want to emphasize very strongly, guys. Let's say if you are QA engineers and you are looking for a QA engineering position, do you need to practice this type of problems? And if you are lack with, let's say, with a basic or foundational in way, probably not. Probably in your case, who I think I'm addressing this for new people who is going into QA. You should mostly focusing on foundations and fundamentals in software testing, which is the key for you to get your job. If you guys already in QA, or like Julia, you want to target for test automation positions as that role, QA or software test engineering positions or software engineering positions, doesn't really matter, then yeah, the part of your routine should be you have to solve this type of problems like once in a day. You have to allocate your time to practice on that type of problems, because like chances are very high that you would go to the interview and they will ask you this type of questions. Not all companies though. I know some software engineers who got their first job without this type of questions, but still not many of them. You should expect this as your routine. And I want to do an announcement like on 29th. So next week, we're going to launch the mock interview program for 1 month. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do practicing mock interviewing and technical interviews as well, which is Chetan will be a part of our team of the mentors who will going through this type of problems. This is gonna be, but it is for QA and this is for software engineers. We have two separate groups. For QA, we'll be focusing on QA processes, QA fundamentals, and for test engineers and software engineers, like who are coding, we call them coders. We'll be doing this type of routine and behavioral questions as well. This is 1 month. Yeah. So if you guys are interested in joining our program, and the program, I'll tell you right now, it's 1 month, 3 times a week, we're going to meet with 2 times a week, we're going to meet with small groups, and 1 time in a week, we're going to meet in a general group. The general group will be not more than 30 people. So it's a relatively small group. And I'll send you a link here if you guys are interested to practice your interviewing skills. Join us, please. I'll send you over and you are welcome to ask any questions if you want. Julia, how are you doing?
A bit hard, but yeah. So again, I'm returning in my mind to the double for loop. I know it's some solution, yeah, but I need to subscribe and verify if it's, yeah.
Chetan, can you help, like maybe with explaining?
Yeah, sure. So basically for this question, the most efficient way to solve this question is to use a hash map, store the value and the wherever it occurs. And you have written any solution here. So we don't need to get like all the solutions. So we just have to return one solution. So we store the integer and the corresponding index in the map, iterate over the array, and then check whether target minus the integer is in the map. If it's in the map, we will just print the index and the target wherever the target minus the integer occurs in the map, because we have already stored the integer, and so we are storing integer and the index in the map. We are going to have that both information. So I can actually just code this like roughly if you want, or do you get the idea, Julia?
So I understood that I need to subscribe, and
Yeah. So basically you actually
and
store you check whether target minus the current
element.
nums of I is in the map. If
Right.
it is in the map, then you print the current index and the index in the target minus nums of I. That's it from the map. So you do map.get target minus nums of I, and then you put the nums of I and index in the map. So you keep doing this continuously.
Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention about the mock interviewing program. The leads and the main feature of this program is that hiring managers are leading those mock interviews. So it's not gonna be us only, but it's gonna be hiring managers from tech companies. And we also have former engineering manager from Google. He will also be a part of our team. So yeah, just letting you know. I think let's go. I think we can pause here, Chetan. Let's go with the feedback and let's go with like, what would you?
Yeah. So one thing that I would like to say, Julia, is like you need to, okay, for this question, so first you need to discuss the approach with the interviewer, then get the buy-in from the interviewer before solving the problem. Don't just jump into the coding problem. And second thing is you will have to write separate functions not like inside the main method. Separate function with a proper return type and what the function accepts. So in a way that so it's separate from main, and so that you can run, so the interviewer can run various test cases on that, call the method, and just be able to check whether the program is correct. Second thing is, so you will have to consider all the cases in your mind before you actually come to a solution, or you can work backwards also. You can say that I will list out the test cases first and then go back to solving problems, but it may take more time. So better just get the buy-in from the interviewer first. When he says yes, you can go ahead and code, then go and code. And then like you need to practice more coding problems, like at least 150, like different kinds of coding problems. So in that way you can get all the breadth of patterns of problems that can be asked in the interview in general. And then you need to maybe learn more use of hash map and all, how hash map is used in. So hash map can be asked in, it's frequently asked in various interviews. So it's one of the important things that you will need to keep in mind always when solving a problem. Can it be used via hash map? Can it be used? There are some other things like binary search, all these things which are very commonly used, so that it reduces the time complexity from n squared to O of n or O of n to log n. So all these things usually will be asked. A lot of things, yeah, it's a little bit like, okay, this problem, a lot of times you might have seen the problem and you will have to just solve the problem. Even you can tell the interviewer, I've seen this problem, and then it depends on the interviewer whether he wants to go ahead with that or new problem. So it's like more practice is required, and just do daily some easy, first go through all these easy LeetCode problems and then solve the medium LeetCode problems. Yeah, and also we keep, once you get to know, once you solve all those easy questions, then you also take care of the time, that make sure that the time is within 20-25 minutes for an easy question. Yeah, so at least like for a QA position. So that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, Julie, thank you very much. You can stop sharing your screen.
Okay.
Do you maybe have your questions for Chetan?
Yeah, I do actually. So I saw that he resolved so many problems, more than 1,000. So it's amazing. So I'm interesting. So I'm usually use this brute force solution. What solution his favorite? Is it how it's called? Recursion. Does he use recursion or something?
Yeah,
Like,
so all about
what you
this,
recommend?
so,
What? Yeah.
so any, I think at Google, so expectation is from any engineer, test engineer, right? Or like one should be able to do at least a brute force approach, and it has to cover all everything. So that is the first thing. Then suppose somebody provides an efficient solution, obviously there will be bonus. So not able to do brute force is the red flag. And so that's where like you have to be at least at a brute force and a little better than brute force. For QA engineer positions, for SDET, obviously you have to be better, and in these circumstances you may have to be exact. You need to get the best solution. So in this right now the climate is not good, right? So industry, so they are expecting solving coding problems exactly how it is, even though the coding problem might be there in LeetCode or wherever. Somebody might have memorized it and someone might have not memorized it. They want exact solution. So right now it's there. So the thing is, you have to again solve more problems, and then you will be able to recognize patterns. So first you solve the problem on your own, then look at the solution. Don't go look at, like, try to solve at least for 1 or 2 days, and then try, and then compare the times. Okay, when in LeetCode there is times, how you compare against others. So if you are, like, say if your solution is just 1% faster than like others, that means your solution is more brute force. There is obviously a more efficient solution. But if your solution is like 90% above all those things, that means you are on the right track. So you that time required, there's a good comparison it gives you. And you don't need to solve like a lot of medium problems. Like first try to solve easy problems and get hold of it. Don't jump to medium hard problems, because sometimes we don't keep track of time, and sometimes hard problems, medium problems may take one day and you solve it, but then in an interview setting where it's 20 minutes, it's very difficult to solve. So it becomes high pressure situation. And
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's another question, Chetan. What do you mean don't buy the question right away? Don't solve the question right away. Can you iterate a little bit?
Yeah, so the reason that you don't start solving the problem right away is because if interviewer has something in his mind already and he knows, okay, this is the way to solve the problem, then he may not he may not think that your solution is wrong, or if your solution though is right, and if there is some syntax problems, and so still like he cannot. The thing is, if he has something in mind, so better get a clarification. Or also first, before you are to solving a problem, you have to clarify all the assumptions, whether you understood the problem correctly. That also is very important. And if you make assumptions like the list is sorted or not sorted, all these things you have to ask those, because if list is sorted, usually you can use binary search and all those things, right? Extra, and you can decrease the time. So you better ask all these clarifying questions before you start solving it, and tell the approach to solve your coding problem. And then he may ask you about time complexity also, even before solving. What is your time complexity of solving? And then you can start writing the code. So you got what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Yeah, totally makes sense. There's one question we missed from Prashant Kumar already. He was asking what kind of suggestions he would give to current grads for targeting software engineering jobs in the product based or a startup companies.
Okay. Yeah. So one thing is like in any resume is one thing, right? Which will get interviewers take notice, right, of your this thing. And so in the resume, you should show impact. Like every project you do, say I decrease the time for this API from 10 milliseconds to 5 milliseconds, or something that is quantifiable. You should write all those things, points in your resume, and be able to talk on it, how you achieved it, like with the STAR approach, right? So this is very important, right? So if other than the coding problems you're talking about, so that's where you have to start. Okay, even if you do your own projects, how are you making impact? That's very important. How you made the impact, very important. How you made it. And also behavioral interviews, you have to be similarly, they may ask you very hypothetical questions. You should be able to answer those hypothetical questions. Or so those are the things. If you have solved 600 LeetCode problems, probably you will hit the same problem in the interview also, very likely. So you may have to go through the same medium problems, how you solved it, and look at all the times. Okay, whether the time you are in the top 50% time or 90% time, whatever. Make sure whatever you have solved, you are at least look at it once before you go to interview. And you more likely than not, it will be the same questions that may be asked. Except for Google kind of companies. Google always asks new questions, so they don't want same repetitions. And yeah, especially like all other companies will ask same questions because firstly they want, because it's all these questions, it's too difficult to create new questions. And secondly, there's a chance that it gets leaked again. And there's no way they have a mechanism to stop that, all those things. I don't know why they ask the same questions again and again.
Yeah.
So some companies do have NDAs, and then they start asking questions. So those companies have unique questions, which is not there in the market. Yeah, they will ask very questions which are very much in line with the work you do. So like For example, one of those companies asked, like, how do you parse a log file? For example, there's a lot of these kind of things, right? Parsing a log file, finding all those values with a particular timestamp order, with a particular, suppose a customer has visited XYZ page, find all those occurrences of XYZ page visits. So this is one of the examples. There are two classes. One is LeetCode problems, another one is work-related coding problems. So you have to be good at both of them.
Check. I just posted the resume templates that we have. You want to check them? Use just one column resume template. Yeah, definitely you want to check our previous sessions with the resume reviews. Those are very important because your resume will be reviewed first by technical recruiters. And those folks, they are not that technical as Chetan or any other engineering managers. So it should be very consumable and readable for them as well. They should understand that, oh, you are this type of person that they're looking for. And then they pass it over to Chetan or to hiring managers and they see, okay, actually, even before that, they will talk to you. They will take notes about you. And if you fill all these check marks that they are looking, they will pass it to hiring managers. And hiring managers, they will give a green light. Yes, I want to talk to them, or no, I don't want to talk to them. So resume is very important. Resume number one. This number two would be preparation. The same thing what we just did with Chetan. So in the next interview, you will actually, the technical interview will be the last, most likely it's going to be in the last stage. The first interview with the hiring managers or with the hiring team would be like also not that technical. It would be more on the surface. It would be a lot of behavioral type of questions, like how you did it, what you did before, like how you solve this type of problems, how you solve this, how you test it, for example, for testers, right? And if they feel confident in that you are who you are in your resume, that you prove whatever you say, then they will send you to the last stage, to the technical interview, which will be very similar to that. For testers, it will be a little bit different. You will be more likely asking to find an issue, report an issue, maybe take home assignment, maybe they will give you a problem where you have to test and show your test cases. For test automation engineers, it could be also live coding challenges when you have to automate something on the fly during the session, or most likely you will have very similar to LeetCode problems. They will give you a link and you have to code on the fly. Yeah, so this is the process, what you should expect. Startup, product-based, they all pretty very similar. Tier 2, tier 3 companies, they would be not necessarily easier, but could be different. But the standard is pretty much very similar to everywhere. How long is a cooldown period in a Google after missing the interview? Is that software engineering? Okay, so when you can reapply, I think that was the question, right?
Okay, yeah, so I think it's 6 months to an year. So usually, so after, 6 months to a year. Right now, I don't know because Google is undergoing a lot of changes in there. So there's cost cutting. So we don't know about whether they have enough positions that's open, the budget. So we have to, so at that time, like last 1 year ago, probably it was 6 months to a year. That's when.
Yeah, you can ask different companies, they different policy. You definitely can ask, like, when can I reapply? If you failed the technical interview, it's totally okay. And they will tell you usually like 1 year. Usually like what Chetan just said. Chetan, can you, if you don't mind, can you share your LinkedIn profile? People are asking you.
Oh, sure.
If you don't mind, obviously.
Yeah, sure. I can send it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we did great today. Guys, please join us on Tuesday. We're gonna cover with a director of engineering another topic like the technical interview, how you can prepare for the technical interview and the structure. I'm sorry, not Thursday, Tuesday. Yeah, this Tuesday, please join us. And also, again, like whoever are in Los Angeles area or San Diego in Southern California, please join us to our meetup, live meetup in person, which will be hosting in company of Pakialan. It's actually a tech company. You can, and I know this is a spoiler, but they are going to hire starting in summer. So pretty close. For those who are interested, join, come over if you are in Southern California. Networking is the key. And for those who are looking for the first job, you actually have to rely on more networking rather than just cold applying. But you still have to cold applying. You have to apply like religiously every day. Even market right now is not in a great shape. That's the reason why you have to double your effort. That's what it is. Unfortunately, now this is the market. To beat the market, you have to double work, right? And that's what it is. Guys, yeah. Join us on Tuesday or Thursday in the live meetup. And if you don't have any other questions, I will post the recording later this weekend. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for participating, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you, Chetan, for helping our candidates. Yeah, and we'll see you in the mock interviewing sessions with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.